Good morning, students. Welcome to English class. Hornbill, Prose 3. Discovering Tut. The saga continues. Part 2. Written by A.R. Williams. Dear students, I am sure you have enjoyed reading the first half of the lesson, the history, role of Howard Carter, and modern archaeology. In this module, we deal with the legacy and other interesting truth about the boy king Tut. The legacy of Tut. Tut's father or grandfather, Amenhotep III, was a very powerful pharaoh who ruled over a period of 40 years. His son, Amenhotep IV, succeeded him and began the strangest period in the history of Egypt. He promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk. He changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning servant of the Atens. He also shifted the religious capital from Thebes to the new city of Akhenaten called Amarna. Further, he attacked Amun, a god, smashed his images and closed his temples. Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago, said it must have been a bad time for the empire as the family who ruled for centuries came to an end and Akhenaten moved in an odd direction. Another mysterious ruler, Smenkhare, succeeded him and died soon. Next, Tutankhamun, also known as Tut, sat on the throne and ruled for 9 years. He worshipped god Amun in the old ways. However, he died mysteriously.
Complicated affair. His wife, Ankhesenamun, his half-sister and cousin, was 2 years younger than him. They both had the same father, the previous pharaoh, Akhenaten, but this is just the start of the royal inbreeding. Akhenaten was also King Tut's uncle because he had a child with his sister known as the Younger Lady, whose remains were found mummified within Akhenaten's tomb. As a side note, the mysterious and legendary beauty Nefertiti was Akhenaten's main wife and King Tut's stepmother. The limited gene pool had consequences, and as we'll see, King Tut had a number of physical deformations. He would have been quite frail and needed a cane to walk. DNA studies say that he was greatly affected by a bone disorder and also severely suffered from malaria, which weakened him even further. Sadly, he and his wife had 2 stillborn children, whose mummified remains were found alongside King Tut's when his tomb. Tut is undoubtedly one of the most famous of the Egyptian pharaohs, but his name changed throughout his life. Originally, when he began his reign, he was called Tutankhaten, which means the living image of Aten. This was in honor of the sun disk god Aten because, as I mentioned, his father was clearly affected by the sun disk, and his father had changed his name, so why not everyone else? He chose to change his name, however, at a time when he was about to abandon the city of Akhetaten and return to Thebes to reinstate the worship of the old gods. His new full moniker was Tutankhamun Hekayunu Shema. You Egyptologists can help me with the pronunciation in the comments. This translates to mean the living image of Amun, ruler of Heliopolis of Upper Egypt. Egyptian custom was to write names with the god first, as a mark of respect, so they would refer to him as Amen-Tut-Ankh. To further confuse things, King Tut also had a throne name, Nebkheperure, which means Lord of Manifestations is Ra, and may be the pharaoh referred to in the Amarna letters, a set of tablets found in 1887 as Nubu-Rereya. Makes everything a challenge for archaeologists and Egyptologists, that's for sure.
Tut's mummy scanned. Tut is one of the mummies in Egypt, whereas until now, with the help of the Egyptian Mummy Project, which started in 2003, almost 600 mummies have been recorded so far. King Tut's mummy was the first one to be scanned by CT, and to the next phase of scanning the mummies with the machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1,700 digital X-ray images in cross-section. Tut's head, scanned in 0.62 mm slices to register its intricate structures takes an eerie detail in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics, and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Dear students, please go through the vocabulary, and on the right hand side, you can see the mummy of King Tut being scanned, and below the winged goddesses of the gilded burial shrine. During the night, workmen climbed up on the ramp and a flight of stairs to carry the body from the tomb into the spinning sand outside. They rose the body into a hydraulic lift, then into a trailer where the scanner was kept. After 20 minutes, two men ran towards the office nearby to bring two fans. The scanner was not working as the sand had entered a cooler fan. The guard joked that it was because of the curse of the pharaoh because they had removed his body. Once the fans worked, the procedure was finished. The data was checked in case of any losses, and then technicians returned the body to the pallbearers who carried him back to his tomb. In less than 3 hours, he was resting at the same place where the priests had laid him many years ago. Here you can see a few images shown on the computer after CT scanning. In the trailer, the technician showed a beautiful image of Tut on a computer screen. He showed the grey head which was scattered in pixels and he spun it around. Next, the vertebrae, hand, rib cage and transection of his skull were shown. The soul of Osiris. As the work was done, the pressure was finally off from the shoulders of Sahi Hawass. While sitting in his chair, he was relieved that nothing went wrong. He had not slept the previous night, and now, as the work was done, he would go and sleep. By the time they left the trailer, the wind had stopped and the winter air was like death itself. Just above the tomb, the Orion constellation shone in the night sky, watching over the boy king. Students, here you find a few more vocabulary and their meanings. Please go through it carefully.
Spoken about before the discovery of King Tut, and mention of a curse has been found in various tombs. King Tut's tomb, however, had no mention of a curse, but a series of deaths made people's imaginations run wild. The first strange death was that of Carter's benefactor, Lord Carnarvon. He had been bitten by a mosquito and the bite got infected and he died soon after. This happened within 5 years impact on Egyptian society than you might expect. He changed the direction of religious beliefs, reverting things to the way they had been before his father's rule, and he was one of the last pharaohs of the 18th dynasty. That's all well and good, but it's perhaps his rediscovery that has had a bigger cultural impact. He reawakened an interest in Egyptology and still to this day fuels the imagination of people around the world. He's the poster child for preservation, highlighting the delicacy of ancient artifacts and the importance of taking care of them for future generations. Various techniques have been designed specifically for King Tut's corpse, for example, to protect it, and these will be invaluable for any future tombs that are found. The purpose of such lavish burial rituals was to ensure that those who had died would live on in the afterlife and have everything that they need. The Egyptians had a saying, "To speak a man's name is to make him live forever." With the amazing story around King Tut's rediscovery and the continued interest in the boy king, he's destined to live on.
Dear students, the discovery of Tut's mummy was a discovery that changed the history of Egypt. Let me wind up today's session with the words of Howard Carter. As my eyes grew accustomed to the light, details of the room within emerged slowly from the mist. Strange animals, statues, and gold. everywhere the glint of gold. When Lord Carnarvon, unable to stand the suspense any longer, inquired anxiously, "Can you see anything?" It was all I could do to get out the words, "Yes, wonderful things." It's true. The details that we read in this lesson about the boy king Tutankhamun are really wonderful. Thank you, students. Have a wonderful day.